I once had an argument with a guy, and that argument went around and around in my head, literally for years. The more I tried to think that argument to resolution, the worse it felt, the more I relived the pain from that argument. Do you have someone like that? Try to tell them, just let it go, man. They can't let it go. What is that? Today I'm heading back on my bike. We're gonna go down to that spot, talk about what are ruminating thoughts and how do we get rid of them.
Now you know a dragon inside me is breathing smoke and spitting raging flame. Look and see beyond the pain. Refined gold spells out a humble name. Pounding gavels just cast spiteful spells. Fear and judgment hurt like stones in wells. I don't need fixing, just a listening ear, and just to have you here.
Welcome to Reach Andy Hogan. That's me, I'm Therapist Andy Hogan. Today I'm talking about ruminating thoughts. Those thoughts that get in our mind like conflict with someone or somebody did something that hurt us, and we try to think it and think it and think it to resolution and closure. But the more we think about it, the more we fuel those torturous thoughts. I'm here at this church where this happened to me. I was playing basketball here, and my brother was here, and there was a guy who I'm gonna call Jim, who yelled at my brother for shooting baskets while they were trying to have a game. And when he yelled at my brother, I went and tried to defend my brother, and we almost got in a fight. This was probably 30 years ago. Yeah, about 30 years ago. I wrote about this experience in my book, Love for Mental Illness, How to Reach, Help, and Heal. And I want to share with you where I write about this in the book. So I just talked about the experience that I shared with you, almost getting in a fight with this guy we called Jim. Let's bounce back to the basketball court, to the conflict I wrote about earlier, where the guy I called Jim yelled at my brother for shooting baskets. When my conflict with Jim nearly came to blows, I turned and walked out to my car. Walked right out that door. Driving around the neighborhood did not make me feel better. The pain of the ruminating thoughts became so strong and so disturbing, I decided to go back and apologize. I drove to the basketball court, walked up to Jim, held out my hand and said, "I'm sorry." He did not apologize back like I expected. Instead, once again, he defended his actions with no remorse. Not wanting the conflict to escalate again, I just walked away with my mind about to explode. I ruminated about him all night and then on and off for days. The thoughts were so powerful. I could not focus on my work or conversations with others. I did not talk about it with anyone, just fueled the fires and kept the pressure cooker on high by focusing all my energy on searching for a thought that would fix it all. During the months and years that followed, whenever random sights or sounds sparked my memory of the incident, or whenever I drove by this church, which was all the time because it's close to where I live, the repressed rage would flare, and I found myself fighting the same thoughts and pain. Despite all that rumination time, trying to think up a perfect comeback to put that guy in his place, I never thought it to closure. I finally found out how to take control when my counselor helped me recognize the ruminating thoughts, and he suggested a different way to deal with them. He helped me recognize that these ruminating thoughts were mental illness. They were symptoms of my mental illness that I didn't recognize up until then. The skill he taught was to first give a name to the painful memory, like basketball melodrama number 1. And then once it was triggered, he said, observe the feelings and thoughts that come and go without judging them and without trying to think them to closure. Just observe them and observe the feelings that come with them. Mindfulness is a form of awareness where you create a loving place in your observing mind to narrate emotions and thoughts as they come and go. Here's the illustration I have in the book of the boats floating by. Our mind is like a river. The thoughts that float by are boats on that river. And most of the time, we just jump on those boats of thought, we make a judgment of what those thoughts mean, and then we ride out that river of emotion based on our judgments. So here's the skill. We have the power to just observe the thoughts come and go. And we don't have to jump on them and ride those waves of emotion. Mindfulness is the skill that helps me finally find peace with my ruminating thoughts. One of them, basketball melodrama number 1, that happened at this church. Thanks for taking a bike ride with me to learn about ruminating thoughts. Hope it's helpful to you and your ruminating thoughts, or the ruminating thoughts of your loved one.
So I'll reach for your hand from above. I will reach